Hey guys, I'm the Elven Archer, and today we're talking about Firesteels. Stick with me. So there's lots of variety in Firesteels, everything from the huge 5" by 1/2 inch, all the way down to the tiny ones used in lighters and bracelets. 2 guidelines I will give you: never spend more than $15 on a Firesteel. Everything here can be bought for under $40 all combined. If you look around on eBay, you can just find tons and tons of them for very cheap. Go for a little bit larger. You're just going to get a lot more sparks and a lot hotter sparks if you can use the whole length of that Firesteel. The little ones just tend to be a little more frustrating and difficult to use. One other thing I would say is don't fall for gimmicks. Like, I've seen things like the Exotac Firesteel that look really nice. They've got machined aluminum handles and such, and they look cool, don't get me wrong, but they don't serve any greater purpose than a plastic handle would, or no handle at all, just a piece of string would. So I would recommend that you don't pay $30 just for a nice looking Firesteel. And also, don't fall for dumb gimmicks like this one. Really? Free rope. I wouldn't have bought that, but they offered me 3 inches of shoestring, so I had to. There's many different techniques for using a Firesteel, and the one that I see most people use, especially beginners, is they'll just take it like this and throw sparks down onto the tinder that they're trying to ignite. Now, that'll work if you have very fibrous tinder, such as cotton ball or cattail fluff. What works better is if you pull it back against the striker. Another one I find to work well: put your Firesteel in the middle of your tinder, and then force sparks down into it. This will ignite almost anything, including punkwood and fulfilmentaris, or tinder fungus, that are generally a little bit more difficult to ignite with a Firesteel because they're so dense. Keep in mind the back of most knives, if they have a sharp 90-degree angle, work as a fantastic striker. With a knife, the technique I find to work the best is to prop the knife against whatever you're striking down against, and then use it as a lever. So let's go over some tinders. Obviously, fine, fibrous tinders are best, such as cotton wool, dryer lint, cattail fluff, and the insides of milkweed heads. They're all going to work extremely well with a Firesteel because there's so much surface area for the sparks to catch on. In fact, all of the tinders I just listed are so fibrous, even the spark from a dead lighter can ignite them. Another tinder commonly used is feather sticks, just very thin strips of wood. Punkwood is another good fire tinder. It's essentially just rotten wood that is extremely crumbly and holds an ember very well. This is a tinder that you'll have to have a bird's nest for to blow it into flames, but I'll go over that in another video. Fat wood is another fantastic tinder that can be used with the Firesteel. You use it just as you would woodchuck if a woodchuck. Anyhow, these soft downy feathers also make great tinder for a Firesteel. But you do get a very strong burning hair smell. Now, while Firesteels do last a very long time, they do eventually wear out. That being said, I've had this Firesteel for 4 years, and I've struck sparks off this steel probably thousands of times, and it's still going strong. Ferro-rods do develop a sort of greenish-white corrosion if left in water too long, but this corrosion is easily scraped off and water is easily wiped off, so I would still consider this a completely waterproof fire starter. One other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was the difference between a Firesteel and a Flint and Steel. They're two completely different things, but often get mixed up. Such as, in the SAS Survival Manual, they refer to a ferrocerium rod as a refined flint rod, which is just wrong. It's incorrect. A ferrocerium rod is a man-made metal alloy made from iron and magnesium oxide. This means that the iron oxidizes with the air and ignites the magnesium, making extremely hot sparks. A flint and steel, on the other hand, is just a regular piece of high-carbon steel struck with a piece of flint. The flint doesn't actually generate any sparks. What generates the sparks is the tiny strips of iron oxidizing with the air. You can see the massive difference between the flint and steel and the Firesteel. The chemical process is basically the same, with the iron oxidizing with the air and creating sparks, but it then ignites the magnesium oxide, creating much hotter and larger sparks. One of these magnesium blocks with the ferrocerium rod on top can actually be very helpful, because you can scrape off a good amount of magnesium into even damp or wet tinder, and then ignite it with the ferro-rod for an extremely hot burning flame. And now you know everything you'll probably ever need to know about ferrocerium rods. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you did, please remember to leave a like and share this video with your friends. If you have an idea of something you'd like to see me do or make, remember to leave that in the comments below. But that's all I have for you today, guys. Archer out.